come to my house.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Ty here with Ty's House of Cards, and here today I have with us Tim, who got what, top 4? If I'm right, top 8. Sorry, top 8 in the Legend of Wolf event. And this week he played with a deck that a lot of people were sleeping on. They were talking trash about and everything else. Well, he's about to prove to y'all that you can choose other things and create other things. So Tim, and if I'd like to point out, Tim is one of the creators of this game itself, of My Hero. So without further ado, Tim Friedlied.
I played one of my favorite characters, Kamui Woods.
What?
And as a matter of fact, we actually played him on the air symbol.
Nice.
So Kamui Woods, I mean, you can look at the card and see what his abilities are. He can basically, the important thing to know about this character is that he can ready himself anytime that an attack is blocked. That means on both offense and defense. You can tap him in order to pass your block, and then you can ready it. So if you just need to block everything, you can not worry about using his enhance. You can just commit to block and ready. He can also end up with big damage bonuses and big damage penalties to attacks as well. So the main thing about this deck is that it focuses really hard in the foundations on defense and being able to find attacks. Those are the main things that this deck does, and then the attacks are a really good kind of synergy of that. So let's go with foundations first. And
I love the map, by the way, man. You're a Spider-Man fan.
First, we've got 4 copies of Requesting Assistance. Momentum is not super important in this, but being able to play cards and pass blocks and pass attacks is real important. So Requesting Assistance, it doesn't just ready itself, it can ready anything. So a really good combo is with another card, Specialist of Sound. We'll get into that a little bit later. But this one just lets you kind of either go deep on defense or offense, as long as you have a momentum. Next, we're going to get into another defensive foundation, and that is Release. Release is another 0 difficulty, so we want 4 copies of our 0 diffs because we want to be able to play them. You, as a 7-hander, you want a 5 or 6 foundation build on your first turn. So real important to get this out. This lets you stay out of deadlock by going from 10 foundations to 9. That way you can build another one. Or if you go into deadlock, you can destroy and now you're out of deadlock. And it gives you +2 to block, so very important to help you block it, because that's what he wants to do. Next for low difficulty, actually I'll just put this right here. Next for low difficulty attacks, Infinite Potential. Not attacks, I said attacks, I meant foundations. Infinite Potential, it is another low difficulty foundation, so you can play it more easily. It has a very good high block, and it also turns any attack that your rival plays into a high attack. The important thing about this is this deck does not have a lot of low blocks currently, so it is heavy in high attacks and mid attacks. There's plenty of mid blocks, but because there's so many high blocks, you can not hold any low blocks. If they play a low, you can turn it into a high attack, and then use your high blocks to block it. So very important, very useful, and it flips itself, which is good because we'll get to that later in the attacks. We want face downs eventually. The last low difficulty foundation is Destined for Mainstream Success. I mean, it has a pretty decent mid block, it's a 1 difficulty, and it lets you possibly draw more cards. Either you're going to draw more cards, or you can safely know that you're going to pass your check to either block or play an attack. That's real important. I always call attack with this enhance, just because if it is an attack, hey, then I'm drawing it, and now there's less likely to be a 3 on top of my deck when I'm playing a card. And if not, if I don't get an attack, then it is like 99.9% chance it's going to be a 5 on top of my deck, so I know what I'm going to check. Let's move on to some 2 diffs. this card right here, Specialist of Sound, super important. This is a response when an attack is played, after your rival plays an attack. And it's actually after an attack is played, so if you want to reduce the speed of your own attack for some reason, you can. But this is the combo I was talking about with requesting assistance. So with requesting assistance, I can use this on one attack, flip this, ready it again. So if I don't have enough of these down, I can get multiple uses out of this if I have requesting assistance. So pretty good combo there. This is just helps you block. That's what we want to do. So real important. Next is Latent Skill. This is a Baku card. This will let you throw away foundations to hopefully find attacks, or throw away blocks that are not the correct zone to hopefully find blocks of the correct zone. Because if you don't have the right zone to block, you can't do any worse than having the same block zones. But you can always potentially get better blocks. So very useful on defense, real useful on offense when you only have a couple of attacks and you're trying to find 2 more attacks. So you can hopefully get those. Next, a card that I know people don't really like. I like it quite a bit in this deck, and that is Plug In. So enhance, flip, look at the top card of your deck. You may discard it. If you don't have a way to draw it and there's an attack, you can discard it off the top of your deck. If it's a 5 and you need to check a 5 on your next card, you can keep it there. Also, this is Stun Hate. Plenty of decks, especially fire decks right now. Fire and Death decks are running lots of stun with like Corrosion Lunge or even Dark Shadow Ruin that can gain stun. This is good. This will let me draw, which again means I can build out a lot more on my first turn, and if I get stunned, I can potentially draw it, draw a block. So real useful. I like it quite a bit. And again, it's a high block, so we can use Infinite Potential to change the attack into a high, and then block with this. Next is Rescue Complete. This card's really good. It is a 3-diff, but it has a low block. Like we said, we're short on low blocks, but this is an important one. This also will let you ready face down foundations, but it's very good because it lets you commit any foundation for -2 speed, or not quite as useful, but sometimes useful if you've done the math, you need just 1 more speed to get an attack through. You can commit a foundation, including itself, to get 1 more speed through. So again, just like Specialist of Sound, this will help you stay alive. Quite good. We only run 1, but there's 1 more in the sideboard. We'll go over the sideboard at the end. Next, we have 2 copies of Charged Up. This is one of the cards I would change out. It is useful because if you get an attack to hit, you can gain an extra momentum. We don't use a ton of momentum, but we use a little bit. However, this is one of my first cuts in the deck, so I'll go over it again at the end a few of the changes I would make, but this is one of them. And then the last foundation, oh no, I'm sorry, this one's really good. Sorry, I forgot about this one. Short Circuit. It's a low block, again, we don't have a lot of those, it's really good. Also, if they're playing an attack like Detroit Smash or Texas Smash or any Tokiyami thing, or even like Todoroki, where their attack has big amounts of damage bonus. If it's not a charge, you set it to normal, and then you can just actually probably take 3 or 4 damage from their attack. So real useful. I use them multiple times to reset their damage when they had +6 damage, and then use Kamui to reduce it to 1 below printed. Quite useful for staying alive, but it is kind of a very technical piece. Last foundation we have is Shock Treatment. Shock Treatment will just let you discard momentum to commit something, and you can destroy it to commit something. I actually never use this. This is the second card I would cut, but it is a good card. I just, in this event, never found a lot of time to use this. Bulkling lets you not take any damage from an off block. That's really good. There's not much more to say about it. It lets any attack be a full block. The one asset in the deck, Earphone Jack, About half of our attacks are charges, so we'll get the speed. But sometimes you just need to get cards off the top of their deck. So this will do that every time. And then you can potentially ready something after your attack hits. So it's pretty useful all around. And it has a +1 high block. Very good. And then we have Go Beyond. Go Beyond, get rid of a momentum to grab an attack from the discard pile. Sometimes you just don't have enough attacks. This lets you get any attack of your choice. Right, so now we're going to talk attacks. We have 16 attacks in this deck. If you count the Go Beyond, we have 17. But let's start with 4 copies of Tongue Smack. This card, won't lie, this was in there for just a little bit of damage, and there's not many ways to get the draw off, but because we commit our character, you get the damage. I might rethink about the number of this card in here, but this has still been useful, and when we side out characters, this is very, very key. So it's still pretty good, but we have 4 Tongue Smack, and the other attack we have 4 of is Meteor Shower. This card's just nuts. You can play a bunch of them in a turn. And if you have momentum, you can turn that momentum into another copy, and then you can get that to your hand. It's just very good. It lets you extend your attacks. 3 Frog Lashing. This hard hits like a truck because you're generally going to have 3 or more face downs, and it lets you ready the face downs that you probably have to commit to pass this card. So really good, hits hard. If you notice, we're all high attacks in this deck, so that's another thing. We have 3 Zero Gravity Lift. This is a throw. I think in the future this becomes a 4 of instead of 3 copies of. It's just been very, very key. 1 activation of Kamui turns into a 7 damage attack. Really, really good. And then last, we've got Home Run Comet. This card gets really big powerfuls. All of our attacks are highs, so for every card in our card pool, this gets +1 to its powerful, or for every attack. So really, really good. It hits hard, and it generates momentum. It's also a really good block, so very, very good. And yeah, I might up this to 3 of as well. This is just a really great finisher.
Well, there you have it, y'all. The Kamui Wood, done by yours truly, Mr. Tim Friedlied.
I'll do a special little short video that I'll probably put in the comments of this or whatnot.
Well, do you have any shout-outs before we let go, since you got to go and catch your flights and stuff?
Shout-outs to MHA CCG, shout-outs to Jasco Games, where I work, shout-outs to Legendary Wolf Games for running this awesome event, and shout-outs to Ty's House of Cards for this video.
Word. Appreciate you. Thanks a lot, Tim. You're awesome. You're doing a fantastic job with the game, man. And we got so much more. I know there's so much more looking into the future. So, of course, we can't share that part. But, hey, thank you again. Love you, man. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.
Bye.